What is up, YouTube? I have another battle here for you today against Sharpedo43. This is a underused match, and we battled once in the past, and you guys might remember it. It was several battles ago, I would say. So let's go ahead and get this one started. Now, as I mentioned, he is a battler who I battled not too long ago. He's a relatively new battler who fancies UU, and he wants another UU match. So let's go ahead and battle Kevin, aka Sharpedo43. So he leads with Goodra, which is a scary, scary Pokemon, as I lead with Gligar, and these things, if they're special, will always pretty much carry Ice Beam, so I obviously do not want to stay in. I switch out into my Snorlax, as he reveals that he is actually a physical set, going for the Aqua Tail, but it ends up missing, which is not very good for him, and he goes for it again, and being that he used that instead of another move, not to mention I don't see any Life Orb or anything. I'm kind of thinking this thing is Choice Banded, which is a very interesting set for Goodra. But I just go for the Curse, and after a Curse, he doesn't think he can do that much to me, so he's going to switch out now into his Melodic as I get off a second Curse, and I figure, okay, the worst thing he can do to me is either Dragon Tail or Scald for the burn. Either way, I'm okay with that if I just go for the Body Slam to get the damage. I know that I might be able to even KO this thing after 2 curses, so that's what I do. He ends up actually just going for the Toxic, which is even, whatever to me as well, because, yeah, I do have the rest on this. It's a regular old Curse Lax, kind of a blast from the blast from the past, back from Gen 2, which is when this set was super popular. Now, he does go into Ampharos now, and for some reason I was not expecting the Focus Blast. Despite my huge special defense investment, Ampharos is still going to be able to KO with it, so that kind of sucks. I was going for the rest to try to get back to full HP after seeing what he would do, and yeah, actually somebody from the chat said I might be able to live this Focus Blast, and I'm like, I don't know, and yeah, I don't. Either way, in comes Gligar, and I'm just going to go set up the Stealth Rocks, because, they're good to set up, and if you might remember from last battle, my Gligar was completely walling this Ampharos. Since then, I guess he decided to add Hidden Power Ice to his resume, which, as you can see, does a lot, but not as much as you might expect for an X4 hit, thanks to my Eviolite. And I'm just going to actually go for the Roost. He's going to predict a switch and go for the Dragon Pulse. And, yeah, it doesn't really do as much. You might remember from the last battle, I was able to wall this Ampharos with Gligar. It was that battle, in fact, and, yeah. He's going to go for another Hidden Power, and this confirms it's Ice, because as you can see, when I Roost, it's doing less damage. But it's still super effective, so it was an X4 hit on the first hit. Regardless, I am going to go into Lucario, and, yeah, I'm just going to... He also double switches into Zelf, and I'm like, okay, could either be a really bad double switch for me or a really good one. I'm going to go ahead and try to go for the Swords Dance, and he reveals that he's actually a setup set by going for the Reflect. Kind of another interesting set here that he's using, looks to be like some kind of setup as Zelf, but, yeah, I do go for the Swords Dance, which pretty much is negated by the Reflect, but, yeah. He's going to go for the Taunt, which I was also not expecting, and, yeah, that's pretty good for him, but I get the crit with the Bullet Punch. I really don't know how, it probably would have been a 2-hit KO either way, I think, even with the Reflect up, since I do have the Swords Dance, but it probably wouldn't have been the Oko, so, it kind of really sucks for him that I got that, crit Bullet Punch. Either way, he goes back into Ampharos, and, this Lucario is actually specifically made for UU, so it, carries the Earthquake, which is not a move that you usually see on Lucario, especially ones that are in OU, but helps me out there with that Mega Ampharos, despite the Reflect, going to be able to take it out. So in comes Mian Xiao, and yeah, I really don't want to take anything from this thing. I know I could have gone into my Chandelure predicting the high jump kick, but these things usually do carry knockoff, and it would have been too much of a problem if he predicted it, but decided to go into Gligar, who I know can take pretty much anything, and still does a lot with that high jump kick. Never seen a resisted physical move do that much to Gligar. Now he does go for the knockoff, as I just go for the Roost, so I lose my Eviolite, which is actually pretty bad, because, yeah, Eviolite is kind of necessary for Gligar. He's going to continue going for the knockoff, I guess predicting a switch. I'm just actually going to stay in and Roost. I know that he's going to be doing less damage. Even without my Eviolite, he's going to be doing less damage with those knockoffs due to the fact I don't have an item anymore. So as you can see, I am gaining more life than he can deal. So he is going to go on now to his Roserade, as I go for the Toxic, which doesn't affect Roserade. Anyway, his Reflect wears off, and I know that these things are probably going to carry Sleep Powder, so I decided to stay in and just take the Sleep on Gligar, because looking at his team, this is probably the most useless thing I have right now. And Yansky actually carries the Stun Spore on this. I don't know if this may be a double status Roserade, but he misses with it a lot too. Now he finally hits with the Stun Spore, and it paralyzed the Gligar, which is not really a huge problem for Gligar, but could still be annoying. And yeah, my attacking move is Rock Slide, and as you can see, it does some damage, and now he's going to pretty much get most of it back. Roserade has a ton of special attack. It's a pretty damn scary Pokemon in UU, and I'm frozen in my paralysis, and that sucks. So at this point, I'm like, okay, he probably won't go for the Stun Spore again, so I go into Chandelure, but he ends up making a great play, going for that Stun Spore on my switch, predicting my switch, and yeah, that's going to cripple Chandelure, and this is a choice Scarf Chandelure. And after the paralysis, I'm not going to be able to outspeed, and he has the Hidden Power Ground, or something. I don't know, maybe Hidden Power, probably Hidden Power Ground. But either way, super effective, and one-hit KO Chandelure. That's a scary, scary Pokemon, to be sure, and he really played that well, taking out my Chandelure. Anyway, I go into Lucario, I Bullet Punch it, and he gets off the Stun Spore against me, and he makes a mistake now, switching out. He's not going to be able to come back in due to my Stealth Rocks. He said they forgot about them, but that really does hurt him because he could have maybe gotten another hit on my Lucario, being that I got paralyzed that turn. Instead, he basically sacks his Roserade for nothing because it can't switch back in. Now I'm just going to go for the close combat against this Goodra. Goodra is not known for its defense as much as its special defense, and as you can see, I am able to take it out, so that's pretty good. And in comes back his Roserade, and yeah, it's going to die, so that's that. And last but not least, he has his Mian Xiao. And yeah, I'm going to just go for the Bullet Punch and get as much damage as I can before dying. And he is going to be able to kill my Lucario, but he's going to end up dying to his Life Orb, so that is the end. Now, I know I got some hacks in this battle, and I do feel kind of bad about that. In fact, I'm kind of disappointed because I have two Pokemon I actually kind of wanted to show off on this team, Arbok and Feraligatr. In fact, this Arbok is I swept a OU team with it the battle before, and I'm like, I want to get off this Arbok. Oh well, Arbok will have to wait for another day. Sorry, Arbok. Either way, today's question of the day is this. Create a new status condition and tell me what it does. I've always had in mind, like, two different status conditions I would like to see added to the game. Now, obviously, there's never been a new status condition in the game. I'm talking about a primary status condition. One that I would like to see is something that has special attack. Something like, I don't know, like a Soul Burn. I really don't have a good name for it. The other one is a crippled status condition that would have defense and special defense. Or maybe not half, but like 75% of them each. A good way to break through walls, etc. But that's some ideas for a status condition. If you have an idea for a status condition, go ahead and leave that in a comment. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and see you guys again next time. Later.